Welcome to the second season of Buccaneers Insider. I'm your host, Danny Rabinowitz. Joining me on the show today will be the coach of our men's soccer team, Steve McCrath. Jayla Trombley from our volleyball team will stop by. And joining me first is the coach of our women's soccer team, Denise Broly. Now, Coach, let me go back to last season. You guys had what I thought was a successful year getting to the NCAA tournament. What are your thoughts about the way last season finished up?
Yeah, we're very happy with last year's performance. Towards the end, if we're being honest, I think we could have went a little bit further. But obviously my first year, I think it was a huge success. But this year, we're hoping to push further and further.
Do you feel like, maybe the way the season ended, you guys come back, you're a little hungrier, and maybe you learned some things along the way?
Oh, definitely. I think the team as a whole and us as a coaching staff have learned a lot. So I think we've matured a lot too, both players and also coaches as well.
Now, Coach, one of the things last year, you guys maybe from an offensive standpoint didn't get off to the start you would have wanted. This year, you guys seem to be clicking a little bit more. Talk about the offensive start you guys have had putting the ball in the net.
Yeah, we're doing reasonably well. I think we've got more options this year going forward, but I think we've still got more to give. We're just getting used to playing together as a unit. I think we'll only get better and better.
How long does something like that take when you want to start to build the chemistry between, you have some new players, some returners, but how long does that take to really build the chemistry you feel like this team is coming together?
It just depends. There's a lot of factors that go into that. We have some transfers, we have some returners, and also some freshmen. So it just depends. Also, fitness plays a part and how healthy they are as well. So there's a lot that goes into it.
You've been in some close games so far this season, some that maybe didn't end the way you want, a little bit frustrating, some ties. What do those games do for your team as far as moving on in the season? Do those build mental toughness when you're involved in those games? They're close down the stretch.
Well, at the time they're frustrating. Obviously, we know we're very strong. Our goalkeeper Becca, she's returning, doing very well, and our back line is absolutely solid. So far, they've shown that, they've proven that. So I'm frustrated for them because they're doing their job day in and day out, but we have to find the net a little more. But these games happen though. We're not going to dwell on it. These things happen, and hopefully we get stronger and stronger as the season goes on. Now,
Coach, let me ask you about Becca. She comes back for final year here, and you have that leadership from her, but how important is she to this team?
She's so important. I guess my words won't even explain to you how important she is. We have another goalkeeper, Paula Ferrero. She's a very good goalkeeper as well, so a good replacement for Becca when she does leave. But no, Becca plays a huge role in the team.
Coach, you also mentioned those defensive players that you have, and you guys have been so strong to start the season. Does that line feel like it's really coming together right now? Yeah,
definitely. We're really happy with that. I mean, they've grown every year. Obviously, I've only been here 2, but I mean, as assistant, I worked with them as well. But we have 2 young centre backs, and we have them again next year, and Katie again the following year. So I mean, we're building from the back, and I think that we're doing that very well.
Now, Coach, you guys come into this season, there's going to be expectations because of the success you had last year. You come in, you're ranked. What is that like, dealing with those expectations this year and living up to those?
I think it's a good problem to have, and I'd rather be in this position than a position I've been in before. So we're really excited for it, but we don't take it for granted by any means. But teams do come and plays a little different now. So we have to be patient. We have to, we have to be patient and play our game and just know that we are a very good team. We will do well this season. I truly believe that. There's no doubt in my mind, but we just have to go the long haul this year.
And Coach, there's a lot more upperclassmen on your roster now. Is that an important thing, moving forward? You want to make that postseason run. How great is it to have those players, and who do you see so far that's really stepped up as a leader?
Well, I think those players are all key to any team, and this team especially, because now we're getting that success, and it's not brand new to them anymore. So they're getting used to it. We've had a couple years. So they feel it, they're hungry for it, and they're building on it as well. But they all play their part, whether freshmen, sophomore, juniors, or seniors. They all play. They play like they're seniors. So.
Let me ask you about Vukovic really quick. And it seems like anywhere she lines up for a free kick on the field, it has a chance to go in. Is that something you guys teach, or is that just a natural ability?
Yeah, no, you can't teach that. Obviously, you can teach it at a younger age, but at this point, when we have them at the university, they've got that skill, and it's up to them to execute, and she does that very well. It's a big weapon that we hope to keep using, and Tamara does well. She's a free kick specialist. She works at it every day, and so she helps us a lot with that.
And finally, Coach, how great has the fan support been? I mean, you guys have had some great crowds out at Buccaneer Field. How great has that been for your team?
Oh, we love it. It's like having another player out there. So hopefully we can keep having those fans being nice and loud and supporting us. It really helps us. We appreciate it, and hopefully they continue to support us.
Coach, thanks so much for taking the time. Best of luck this season.
Thank you.
Earlier, I had a chance to talk to one of our volleyball stars, Jayla Trombley.
I'm joined now by Jayla Trombley from our women's volleyball team. Jayla, thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
Senior season for you here. What is it like going into your final year here at Barry?
It's exciting, very anxious, and very excited to just get this season going with this team. I think we're going to be really strong this year.
Do you feel like there's an added responsibility going into your senior season to maybe be more of a leader?
Not really. I've kind of always been someone that people expected to be leading on the team even since I was a sophomore, so it kind of feels like the same pressure. But I know because I'm a senior, I have to perform for the underclassmen as well.
What kind of player are you out there? Are you more of a vocal player or more of a lead by example?
I'm a little bit of both, but I would say more so towards the local end of it. You can always hear my voice. I'm pretty loud in the gym, so.
Now, Jayla, let's look back to last season. I know things didn't go exactly the way you guys wanted them to. You take any lessons from last year?
I think we did. I think that we realized that we need to come together more as a team, and we did do that, and it's definitely showing. I mean, at this time last year, we weren't in the position that we are now, so we've grown a lot.
Now, I know it's early on in the season, but how's the chemistry so far with you guys?
Our chemistry is fantastic. I mean, if you ask anybody on the team, we had 6 new players, and it doesn't even feel like we have new girls on the team. It kind of feels like we've all been playing together for even kind of years, if you want to even say that.
You guys are off to a great start so far, 7-1 on this season. What's been the key to that fast start?
I think that probably one of the biggest keys is just our talent that we have on the team. We brought in 6 amazing players. We brought in an outside hitter, Victoria. She's absolutely incredible. A libero, haven't seen as good a libero as Brittany since in a really long time. So I think talent was a big part of it, but also we're just a more mature team. We're full of juniors and seniors, so it's just different playing out there. Everyone knows their job, knows what they need to do, so maturity is a big part of it as well.
Let me ask you about some of those taller players you guys have playing up by the net. They've been really good for you guys so far this season, right?
Yeah, they have. I mean, it's normal, typical. I mean, I'm kind of a short front row player, so it's typical for me to see them, but it's been great that we have a lot more height and also people who can jump as well. So.
And you guys got to do a little traveling so far this season, right?
Yes, we did. We just got back from New York City. We played in Pennsylvania, and it was great just to be able to experience 4 wins with the team and then be able to go out and see Times Square with the team as well and go to a Broadway show. So it was really great.
Which show did you see?
I saw Chicago, and then we had a couple girls see Aladdin, and then Motown and Cinderella.
Now let me ask you about you personally. You're a senior, so obviously you're getting ready to graduate. What's your major, and you have any plans for after school?
I'm a biology major. My biggest plan is to go and get my master's in secondary education, and then I want to teach a public school science, hopefully anatomy and physiology.
Now you guys open up the conference season here at home. You look back at last season, obviously it's one of the toughest conferences in Division II. What is it like going through the entire conference season?
You're always kept on your toes just because we are one of the toughest conferences in our region. So it's nice to just always be playing an up team, and to kind of always be the underdog too. So I'm excited for our team as well because everyone doesn't think we're as good as we actually are. So it's going to be great, I guess, just to play all the great teams like Tampa and Eckerd. So.
Jayla, I want to thank you for stopping by. Best of luck here as you finish up your senior season, and thanks for taking the time.
Thank you so much.
I'm joined now by the head coach of our men's soccer team, Steve McCrath. Coach, thank you for taking the time.
You're welcome.
Now let's look back to last season really quick. You guys won the Sunshine State Conference tournament. How nice was that to finish up your season with a win like that?
Well, it's always it's hard. You know, you have two ways to look at it. We didn't make the national playoffs, but you finish with a high. You finish on a win. So at the end of the day, with a lot of the struggles we faced over the course of the year, it was one of those things. I almost felt like I know I won't know the feeling of the experience, but like giving birth. Like you've carried this thing around. It was a struggle, and then at the end, there's this ultimate joy. And I mean, it was an incredible feeling to be with those guys. So for me, as a coach, it meant everything.
Can you take some of that momentum from the way you finished? Can you take some of that into this season? And also, does it leave you guys hungry to try to get to that postseason tournament this year?
I think the hunger part, yes. What you can carry from the year before, it really, having been on national championship winning teams and even losing teams, you find that the year before can only provide so much. And it depends on your personnel. It depends on where their heads are at, because you could have won it and you can find that people's individual thoughts and desires may get for the next year versus this collective, hey, we want to get going. You can start out your season slow, and it can be very difficult. And in our seasons being so short, we don't necessarily have that chance to recover, maybe like a pro sports team where maybe they start out very poorly and everybody's saying what's going on. So at the end of it, I'd say the fuel for we want to reach something higher, that was definitely there. Even the preparation the kids had before they came through the summer into the fall training camp was definitely there. But whether or not it's going to translate into a motivation for a championship, that's going to remain to be seen, I guess, based on where everybody's heads are, timing, health, you name it.
And Coach, how proud are you now of the team? You know, obviously you mentioned there was a grind last year, and you guys are playing well to start this season. How proud are you of the progression that you've seen from last year, the beginning of last year, now the way you guys have started this year?
Well, you know, not to take anything away from the players, but I'm really proud of the staff. I think and it's actually equal in the sense that I'm really grateful that the staff has put in such hard work to make sure that we knew where this player and this player and this player and how these players need to come together. We really did a nice job of preparing to get them on the right road. And then where I'm really proud of the players is that they have joined in. We haven't had everybody. We haven't had really our full entire complement yet over the course of since our first game started in Georgia. So at the end of it, I guess I look at it and I say I'm happy with the direction we're going. And I have an excitement, but I don't necessarily know where that excitement's at yet, because I don't think we've come together nor hit our groove. But we're in a better state than we were at the outset of the last two seasons, that's for sure.
From an offensive standpoint, how long does that take till you guys start to mesh, you start to see the ball in the back of the net a little bit more? I know you guys have gotten off to a pretty good start, but like you said, there's more that you can do. So how long is that feeling out process between all those offensive players? I think, like anything, they say Rome wasn't built in a day, and it's easy to destroy more than it is to build up. And with what's going on right now, this has been probably the best start we've had in now about 4 years, besides the 2011 season where we really did get off on a great foot. But I think that the building of an attack is really difficult because you have so many different moving parts where you're trying to create, and being in the right spot at the right time, then the delivery of a ball, and sometimes it just takes a flow that I would say 7 weeks, 8 weeks can actually be, if you look at it with training camp, probably late September is generally early October is when you start to see teams, their relevance as to how they're going to get their attack going and what's really real about their game starts to really surface. Let me ask you about your defenders, and you guys have done a pretty good job so far. You have some returners, some new guys as well. I mean, how do you feel those guys have meshed, and you feel they're doing a good job protecting the net?
Well, yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways we're new. New goalkeeper. Well, the back line has had, in terms of starting players, maybe 50% of the time somebody's new in the lineup based on what we've had to do so far. So overall, I think that the collective defending has been probably where our best asset's been, but you can tell that we haven't been great at it because obviously we haven't posted a shutout yet. So it requires some work there too, but like I said, I guess it's easier to do the defending and the destroying than it is the attacking portion. So at the present, I'm still pleased with where they're headed. I'd like to see, we've got to ramp up the improvement though.
Now, Coach, with conference play underway, what can you tell me about playing in the Sunshine State Conference? And I know you got to bring it every night.
Yeah, well, when conference begins, I mean, this is where that twist of fate comes in our schedules. We have the first two games we're playing are just region games, but they're not conference. The conference will start for us next Saturday on the 27th at Eckerd. And the easiest equalizer to give is the English Premier League. It's just nonstop, it's intense, and yes, there are teams at the top, but you know that realistically anybody really can get a win. And it's hard. It's actually hard now on the players. I think on their physiological prep, their mental prep. It's a very, very demanding conference.
You mentioned the Premier League. You just had the World Cup down here. Have you noticed an increased interest in soccer, especially in the U.S.?
Yeah. I mean, I've had this argument with my college mates since the days when we were together, and it was, soccer's never going to be big. The reality is, it still doesn't fit the bill for everybody has to get and watch, an MLS game, for example. But the fact that people are interested, they're watching soccer, people can talk soccer, it's on TV, you can find it literally everywhere, almost, unless you didn't have cable, you could probably find it 5-6 days a week, just being a normal viewer. It's exciting for me. It's not to the place here where I would say that it's a sustainable point of reference for NFL football. But I would tell you that it's a sustainable profession, and it's definitely growing in the case that it's normal. It's in the normal scheme of life that people never used to discuss and talk about. And I hear it less and less now where someone says, well, I didn't grow up with soccer. Now that group is pretty common. It's like, yeah, soccer's been in my life one way or another. So for me, I'm excited that it is where it's at, and I'm excited for my profession that it's going to continue to grow. I don't see it going anywhere but up.
And you guys have had some great crowds so far at Buccaneer Field. How important is that? How much does that fuel your guys?
It reminds me a lot of when we used to get crowds that would literally almost fill the stands, flags waving, banners. There's a group that's coming from the Greek system that has been brilliant. Those guys have been fabulous, and I think like anything, the more people who want to join in with that for both the men's and the women's programs is fantastic. It makes it a lot more family connected when the kids are out there playing and you've got these people absolutely emotionally involved. And I've enjoyed sitting on the sidelines, and I can hear it now and then. I don't normally hear stuff, but it's coming back to the days of okay, we got something going here. So I'm really pleased. I'm really proud of those students.
Coach, I want to thank you for taking the time, and best of luck to you the rest of the season.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
My thanks to Denise Brolly from our women's soccer team, Jayla Trombley from our volleyball team, and Steve McCrath from our men's soccer team. For Dennis Jezik and Jim McCurdy, I'm Danny Rabinowitz. Join us next time on Buccaneers Insider.